JoJo.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Doing so good. Thanks for being on. Um,
Thank you.
you bet. All right, everybody, let's get rolling. Hi, I am JoJo Bennington, and I'm so happy to have you all on today. And just so you can have a little bit of my background, so you understand where I come from. So, born and raised in Las Vegas, and went from traditional, employee, blackjack dealer, bartender to small business owner. Had several brick and mortar businesses, and went into nutrition and have been working in nutrition for the last 14 and a half years. I'm a certified nutritional consultant, and I have had the honor of coaching thousands and thousands of people through some of the nutrition that we're going to talk about today. And I'm just happy to have you all on to get us all educated, and we're all home and kind of on quarantine anyway, so we might as well hang out together and learn some stuff, right? So I'm going to, so if you've never been on Zoom before, there is a button in the top right that's a speaker view or gallery view, so you can toggle back and forth to how you can see your screen. There's also a chat button that if you want to add in some comments, tell us where you're zooming in from, say hi to everybody, ask some questions, give some testimonials in there, stay compliant. You please feel free to add that all into the chat. Would love to have your little sideline comments going on. And I'm going to share my screen, and we'll get this party started. So thanks all for being here. And let's see. I love it when technology works the way I want. Okay, so here we go. Well, maybe. All right, I think it's gonna work. Okay, everyone can see my screen, thumbs up?
Yep.
Anybody? Good, perfect, thank you. But, you know, I've done lots of different things in my life, lots of different jobs, been in lots of different communities of workspace, and I've never really been in a space like this before, where as we all work together, wherever we come from, we come in as one team and work together, and we know that by lifting others through their health and wellness, by lifting their life, by lifting their bank accounts, by plugging them into this community that we have, we're all lifted. And so, you know, the rising tide rises all boats here. We love to say that. And, you know, I've been with Isagenix for 14 and a half years, and we have a myriad of products that we can pull from, talk about, chat about. But today we're gonna put the main focus on these two. One is telomere support isogenesis, and the other one is our nutrient-dense meal replacement. And, you know, the simple baby steps. We don't ask anybody to change their whole entire environment. It's just little baby steps every single day. And I love to start off by showing my friend Jimmy, who in, you know, the left picture is 80 years old, and in the right picture is 90 years old. Looks like it should be flip-flopped, right? So it should be the other way around. But not only does he look younger, but physiologically he's younger. And, you know, by putting these amazing nutrients in and working with our body at the cellular level, we're really able to do things in a different way. So this isn't the normal way that we see aging, right? It's going the wrong way, so somebody would say, but we know that it's going the right way. And so the reason that we're seeing some of these amazing results is because we learned about telomeres and started supporting ours almost 10 years ago. And so to understand what a telomere is, you know, everyone has chromosomes, DNA, cells in their body. So that inside the cell, there's all of these thousands and thousands of chromosomes that live inside the cell. And they look kind of like this little X chromosome. And on the end of each one of these chromosome legs, there's a little protective tip or cap. Well, why that's important is because inside of that chromosome, coiled up, is our DNA. And DNA is really the roadmap to every single thing that goes on in our body. It tells us who we are, it tells us what color our hair is, how our organs function, it tells us everything about ourselves and what makes us all individual. DNA is extremely important. It's related to every single thing in our body. So now we have the chromosome legs, we have the DNA all coiled up inside, and we have these little protective tips or caps on the ends that are called telomeres. Well, you know, our cells divide constantly. We have like over 160 trillion cells in our body, and about a billion divide every single minute. Well, every single time that a cell copies itself into a new cell, we lose a little teeny bit of that little protective tip or cap over the end of the chromosome leg. So imagine losing the tip or cap, that little plastic cap on the end of your shoestring. What would happen to your shoestring? Well, it would fray, right? That's the whole reason that it's there. Well, same thing with our telomere. As our telomere starts to disappear, then our little nucleic bonds that hold our DNA together. So if you can see where they all touch, like where that little arrow is, those little nucleic bonds are what hold our DNA together. Well, as the telomere starts to disappear, those nucleic bonds start to separate, and that's where our DNA begins to fray. Well, they've now related back every bit of aging, degeneration, disease process, every single thing that goes on negatively in our body has to do with our telomere shortening and our DNA fraying. So sometimes it can get to a point where it frays so much that the cell can no longer divide, and that's a dead cell. So let's say you had a dead cell in your eyes. Like, you wouldn't just not be able to see well, you would be blind. That would be senescence in your eye. That's death of a cell, completely not able to replicate itself anymore. So we know that, you know, little by little by little, you know, this was our initial aging process. We were born, we grew to our prime age of like 23 to 25 years old. And then we would start to see some decline to where we would get to an older age and eventually we die. So the thought was, what if we could take not only this young baby and grow them to a prime, and then they would be able to stay at that prime throughout their life, but even more exciting, what if we could take somebody who was already aged and help to reverse the degeneration that's happened inside the body? Well, what we're talking about today is actually won the Nobel Prize in 2009 in physiology and medicine. This whole science behind this is really incredible. My computer gets loud. Katya, will you let me know? Because I have my fan running in the back. Thanks. And so Dr. Bill Andrews, who's an amazing molecular biologist, he has spent his entire life working to fight aging. And in 1994, he discovered the telomerase enzyme. So it's an enzyme inside our body that's already there. He discovered it inside the human body. They didn't think that we had that inside of our body, but he actually discovered it in the human body in 1994. The thing is that that enzyme is in our body, but it's suppressed. Well, he knew if we could turn that enzyme on, what that enzyme does is it goes back and it heals those nucleic bonds and puts those back together. So essentially fixing the fraying. Well, if degeneration is related to the fraying and you can fix the fraying, wouldn't it be amazing to be able to reverse that, right? So he knew, his hypothesis was that he would totally be able to do that. So he's got the only lab in the entire world that can test this. So this is really important to know. He's got this lab up in Reno, Nevada, where he's been working out of. He's got the only machinery, he actually invented it, the only testing machines that can do this. So he takes these human skin cells and he injects different things into them. And then he waits for the cell division. And once the cells divide, they can see whether the telomere got longer, whether it stayed the same, or whether it got short. Right? So amazing. He's been doing this over and over and over and over, trying to find things that would induce that enzyme. Well, let's see if my computer's going to work. So a couple of years, so he discovered it in 1994. A couple of years later, he actually shared that theory with Harvard, and Harvard took mice and prematurely aged them, so made them old, and then they turned their telomeres back on. So you can actually see, if you ever go, you could go in and Google it and say Harvard mice study. You can see what their telomeres looked like before, and all the tips are gone, or almost all of the tips are gone. And then they reactivated it, and you can see that all the tips of the telomeres start to come back. Well, what happened in those mice was they say it was a remarkable reversal of the aging process. This is why it won the Nobel Prize in 2009. This whole entire, this science won the Nobel Prize, is because they were able to watch those nucleic bonds go back together, repair that template, and the old mice became young again. Not only did their brains get bigger, their bones regrew. So they had, as we age, sometimes we get bone degeneration. They watch their bones, their cartilage regrow. They watch their cognitive ability come back. Their fertility came back. Like, amazing things came back. Look at the difference in the hair. Their hair regained color and grew back. They were able to get through the maze again when they weren't able to do that before. So that really proving our theory in a living, breathing mammal. Well, what are we? We're living, breathing mammals, right? So what happened was Bill's in his laboratory doing all of these tests, testing compounds, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, natural compounds, all different kinds of things, anything that he could find. They even made some stuff up to inject into the skin cell to see what would activate the telomerase in the system. And during the course of this time, on an accidental meeting, this is Dr. Bill Anders, he met John Anderson, who is the formulator of Isogenics. I mean, John's just not done Isogenics. Over 600 other companies, I don't know, thousands and thousands and thousands of products John's created. But when he created Isogenics, he kind of broke the mold. Here we have the most amazing thing. And John is an incredible formulator. So herbalist, botanist. They call him the mineral man because he can actually take minerals and put them into a water-soluble form so your body can absorb them. Because right, you can't absorb a rock. Lots of the vitamin pills we take that are mineral pills outside of our system, they find them in their gut like ages and ages later because your body can't break them down. But John knows how to get water-soluble minerals into our system. He also can take these plant fibers and explode them into all of these different little fibers. So like, say it's an ingredient like milk thistle. He can blow that up into all of the different phytochemicals that live inside that plant. Could be anywhere from 250 to 1,000 different little fibers in there. And then they can test each individual fiber. Amazing, amazing, brilliant man. I talked to Bill one day and he told me that he thinks that John's the most brilliant man he's ever met. And so when John started to understand the science that Bill was working on, he said, I would love to send you some compounds. And Bill was like, yeah, okay, right. So didn't really believe in John yet. But over 10 years, Bill had spent in the laboratory. Over 304,000 different times had they taken something and injected it into the skin cell to wait to see if it would grow the telomere. Well, look, over 10 years and 304,000 different times, they found 8. So what this chart is an actual assay chart from Bill's lab. Each one of the yellow lines is something that they tried. So this was something that they injected into the skin cell. So this is each one of the little individual things that they tried. Out of everything that they tried, they found these 8. Can you imagine only 8 out of 304,000 different times? You're going to be pretty persistent to keep that up. The only problem is that these compounds were too toxic for human consumption. But what they did was prove that it could be done. So John starts sending over little vials. You can see like here in the background, these are the little vials that John was sending over. So just with little number on them, Bill never knew what he was testing. It was all blind. And so John sent over 15 little bottles. Now remember how many Bill had tried, 304,000 different times. But John sends over 15, and on the first 15, he got his first hit. So Bill said, well, he's got to be extremely lucky. There's no way he could have got them on his first time. In his second 15, he got another hit. So their ears started to perk up. But over the next 120 things, that little bottles that he had sent over, they had found 11 natural hits. So those were things that were actually working with the cell the way that Bill wanted them to. So incredible. So it took them, they were working together for, it was like a year and a half before we had our first generation of what they used to call product B. So we don't call it product B anymore, we call it isogenesis, but if you ever hear product B, it's the same thing, right? So it's the same thing, just different name. So now we call it isogenesis. And so interesting, right? So the basis of all life, isogenesis, that's a profound name, actually. And so then as they started testing, John sent over some compounds and was able to get hits that were even stronger than Bill's base compounds, which Bill didn't think that we were ever going to be able to do. So he was totally excited about all of these things that were happening. But they were able to create this amazing product called isogenesis. So we're on our 4th generation now. So we have over 20 hits, and Dave says 25. So I'm going to go with that, 25 hits in the current isogenesis. And we know that they're continually working and looking to update the technology here. So we love that they don't just sit back on their laurels and go, okay, we have something that works really amazing. Let's just wait and see how this does. They're continuing to look for things that help the body. And so this amazing, incredible telomere support, it's a little gel cap. You take 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, and it's really telomere support, huge amount of antioxidant, but the telomere support is really the huge piece of it. And so what happens with people that we've seen do this? So just so you guys can see some testimonials, we know that, some people love the science and some people love the stories. So we'd love to show you guys what we've seen. I always say, I wish I could just download my brain into your brain so you could see all of the things that we've seen happen over the last 10 years. But here's just a few. And so know that, we're not here to diagnose, treat, cure anything. We're talking about the body has an innate ability to heal itself. And when we give it what it needs to heal itself, it can do amazing things. So this is our friend Dick Sauder, and he lives in Minnesota with his family there. And his daughter-in-law, Amy, came to a presentation that we did at a dentist office out there a long time ago. Gosh, it's been how old, 8 years ago? Holy moly. And this was Dick at 82, not doing so good, feeling like he was not thinking so well, his memory wasn't doing so good, he wasn't breathing so good. There was some serious things going on with him. Plus, a little bit overweight, not feeling so great, and thinking he's on his way to the old folks home, as he calls it. And then Amy got him on the product, and that's him at 85. So 82, 85, 87, 89, you guys, he just keeps getting younger. On his 89th birthday this past July, so it's, oh my gosh, he's going to be 90 soon. He did 101 push-ups on Facebook. So incredible, right? Doesn't this guy look like the son of this guy? Now look at that. This is a common thread that we see going through this, is that people are looking and feeling younger, having more quality of life as they age. Wouldn't you want to feel like that as you age? Don't we want our parents and our grandparents to feel like that? Incredible, right? So this is Bob Sheridan. They call him the Colonel. He lives here in Vegas where I am, and he was not doing so great. But Bob's a pretty cool guy because he's the only announcer that does boxing announcing in the Boxing Hall of Fame. And at 72 was sent home from the hospital to get his affairs in order, was not doing so well. Luckily, his wife, Jane Ann, she got him started on this. And so you can see they interviewed him 6 months later and his amazing transformation. You can go back and still look up fightnews.com and read the interview where he talks about how his wife got him started on this. And they were, they're like, wow, we thought we were going to lose you, Bob. And he's like, yeah, my wife got me on the stuff and my life's changed. And then this is over a 2-year span. You guys, amazing, right? Looks like the son of the guy who looks like the son. This looks like dad of all 3. And that was the first picture. Isn't that incredible? at the, you know, every time we see it, it's just amazing. And he's still doing grow, just still doing so well. And he's still announcing. And this is our friend Jill. Now, what's so cool about Jill is that, you know, Jill's been in Isogenics just a little bit longer than I have. And so she's, if you think about, you know, we were already doing really great nutrition, but adding in our isogenesis 10 years ago when it came about, things have really changed for us. And so getting younger instead of getting older. She just turned 61. CrossFit, she does CrossFit, she has a CrossFit gym, she's constantly working out 6 days a week, looking and feeling amazing. You would never know, right? Never know. And, you know, what happens when something happens and you break a bone, or you cut yourself, or you have an accident and your body's in healing mode? So when you think about, you know, when you break a bone, or let's say you cut yourself, your body has to go into massive cell reproduction to heal whatever that wound is. Now, what did we say happens when our cells divide? Our telomeres get short, right? So if we are having a broken bone, and the broken bone's trying to heal itself, we're in massive cell regeneration. We're in massive cell where cells are duplicating very, very fast. So if you look at, like in the case of Dave, where he had a very serious motocross accident and got a pilon fracture in his shin. Now, pilon fracture, if you look at it under a microscope or on an X-ray, it looks like a pane of shattered glass. Now imagine trying to put a bone back together from that. And the doctor said it's the most serious fracture that you can have. There's nothing worse. And you can, he said, if you walk normal ever again, that will be unusual. You'll never run again. Your body will never be able to handle the pounding. But Dave said, well, I have my isogenesis, so I know what's going to happen, because my body's going to be able to heal itself at a different rate. So this entire process was 3 months. Now think about this. He was off his foot because he had to have surgery. They had to put little pins and plates and screws in there to hold it all together. Then he was in his wheelchair for a while. Then he was on his little his knee rolly. Then he was on his walker for a little while. And 3 months afterwards, he went and ran stadiums. The doctor said he would never be able to run again, let alone 3 months later. So pretty incredible. But if you look at this, there's also no muscle atrophy. He's been off his feet for 3 months. Well, it only takes about 11 days of not working a muscle for it to start going into atrophy. So think about 3 months of that, but he didn't lose any of his muscle. So pretty incredible. Kathy, I don't know if she's on today. I didn't see her because I popped over, but hopefully if she's here, Kathy, say something if you are. She's incredible. This was in 2012. Now, with the adding all of this, the Forever Pack in, look at her at 69 on stage in Las Vegas at the fitness competition. Now she's 72, doing amazing. She's our rock star. She's our inspiration for sure. And, you know, so let's talk about somebody who's younger, because I've shown you some people who are a little bit older, but what about somebody who's younger, like in their 30s, like Chantel? Chantel, mother of 4, was not doing so well, having some serious back discomforts and some degeneration in her back, and having trouble sleeping, having trouble living a normal life, wasn't really able to play with her kids very well, and got started on the system and added in this isogenesis to what she was doing, went back to being able to sleep, was playing with her kids, and she actually is now doing flooring with her husband. Like her husband has a flooring job. Can you imagine like doing any more back-breaking work than that? But that's incredible. So these are the things that we see over and over. So, you know, when I say, do you want long telomeres or short telomeres? I sure hope that you, after seeing all of this, you understand why long telomeres would be your answer. And adding in nutrition to this is so important. So we have this amazing antioxidant and telomere support, but what about what we eat every day? So can replacing one meal change your life? And we absolutely say yes, because the amazing brain that put this isogenesis together also went into this meal replacement shake. That's the brain that created this. So not only is it nutrient dense, low calories, high nutrition. That's a huge point, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. But undenatured whey protein, which is the highest alkalinity that you can put in your body. They're yummy. They're filling. Kids love them. We love them. Like it's a win-win on all levels when it comes to putting in good nutrition to your body. So, once upon a time, we used to have this layer of microorganisms that lived inside of our soil. And the entire job of these microorganisms was to break down the mineral or the rocks into minerals that were absorbable by the plant. So the plant would go into the soil, and microorganisms break down the minerals in the rocks. Now the minerals are in the soil. We plant the plant in the soil, and it pulls out the minerals as it's growing. So now the minerals are in the plant, and then we eat the plant and the minerals are in us. That's the way it used to be. But because we've herbicided and fungicided and pesticided everything to death, now that whole layer of microorganisms doesn't exist anymore. So the minerals that used to be in those plants doesn't exist very much anymore. And so supplementation is absolutely necessary. You guys ever want to look up some really great documentaries and we're all at home? Like, you could watch King Corn, you could watch Food Matters, you could watch Dirt. That's a really good one. There's if you go on and just Google food documentaries, there's so many things that you can see about how our food supply is so mistreated and totally bankrupt. So it may look like a really pretty tomato, but we're not getting the nutrients out of it that we used to. And to get the same amount of nutrients out of a tomato now, we would have to eat 15 tomatoes, right? If you compared it to 1950, we'd have to, can you imagine? There would be no way. Our stomachs are not big enough to get in the amount of food we need to keep ourselves nutrient dense. Then we add in the issue of acidosis, which is a huge problem, because the majority of the things that we're putting in our body every single day keep our body in a lower acidic state. When our bodies are in a lower acidic state or in acidosis, we have more acid reflux, definitely, but it affects how our immune system functions. So our bodies are not able to fight off our little invaders that are coming in. Our armies get really weak. So acidosis is a terrible place for diseases and cancers and all kinds of issues of the gut. It's the only place that all of those things can live, because when your body is in homeostasis or in a more alkaline state, none of those things can live there. And our armies, our immune systems are strong. So about 7.25 is perfect homeostasis. And when we think of that, we think of balanced body. The more close we are to that 7.25, without going too high, because we don't want to be over alkaline either, because that's not good either, but balanced, that's where we end up. But the problem is that most of the things that we're in contact with every day keep our body in an acidic state. The drive-through meals, the Starbucks coffee, sorry Starbucks, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. There's definitely, there's no nutrient value there, and it keeps our body acidic. Cheese, most of the meats and the proteins that we eat keep us in a lower acidic state. Very dangerous to be there all the time. So our bodies are constantly fighting to try and raise our pH balance, and a lot of times those nutrients get pulled out of our bones to keep us balanced and keep our immune system up. So that's not a good place, right? We don't want our bones to be weak. We want our bones to be strong. So what's incredible about our meal replacement is that it's undenatured whey protein is the highest alkalinity, the highest alkaline protein that you can put into your body. So let me say that again. Undenatured whey protein is the highest alkaline protein that you can put into your body. So when our bodies are constantly fighting all the time to keep us out of that acidic state, to put in something that's so alkaline that feeds our body so nutrient dense, that's an incredible thing. So undenatured whey protein and regular whey protein off the shelf, not the same animal, because regular whey protein is not an alkaline. it is an acid, it's an acid. So if you look up if you Google acid alkaline chart, you can totally like learn that stuff. So you want to keep yourself, it's a balance, a little bit of acid, a little bit of alkaline, a little bit of acid, a little bit of alkaline, that keeps us in homeostasis. But when it's just a bombardment constantly of acid, that's not a good place. And medications will do that too. So pharmaceuticals will also keep our body in more of an acidic state. So let's look at some of the food we're eating now versus what we could be eating with this isogenics meal that I'm talking about. Even if we're eating, even if you're have your whole entire kitchen full of produce and you're living on really good vegetables and fruits, and you're not doing the fast food meal, we've already talked about how that is a bankrupt place for your body to be because you're not getting the nutrients out of it. And so when we think about this meal, so this is the #1 meal sold in America. So it doesn't necessarily have to be from Burger King. It could be from any fast food place, but it's a sandwich, a fries, and a soda. And people will always say to me, well, it's so expensive to eat healthy. It's so expensive to eat healthy, I can't afford it. And so let's just chat about that a minute, because that doesn't really hold water here. So first of all, let's talk about nutrition. Inside of this meal, is there any nutrients? Well, we used to say, well, maybe in the tomatoes and the lettuce, but we already know that those are bankrupt. There's no nutrition in those French fries. There's no nutrition in that bun. It's a negative. It's a negative when we're looking at nutrition. Plus, it keeps our body in an acidic state. But when we look at the isogenics meal, it's a maximum amount of nutrients with 252 nutrients and probiotics and digestive enzymes and a perfect balance of proteins to carbohydrates to fats to sugar to amino acids. All of those things are important. And when we look at the fast food meal, 1,830 calories. That's enough calories for a whole day plus some. And in your isogenics meal, it's 240 calories. Now, when we were talking earlier, remember I said, high amount of calories, low amount of nutrition versus dense nutrition with a low amount of calories. So those drive-through meals, huge amount of calories, little nutrition, right? Versus the isogenics meal, which is a huge amount of nutrition in a small amount of calories. And our bodies, we think our bodies really are fueled by calories, and not that calories aren't fuel, because they are. But to keep our bodies, our machines functioning properly, we want our cars to be running optimally, we have to put in the nutrients. The nutrition value is what's the important piece of that. It's the nutrition calories. It's the nutrition fuel that keeps us going. So back in 2007, when we started doing this, that meal cost $8.47. This meal, this isogenics meal, is under $3. It's about $2.90. So when you look at the difference, that's amazing. But now in 2020, that meal, that fast food meal, is $10.50. So when you tell me it's too expensive to have a nutritious meal, I can show you right there very clearly that that is not the case. When you add the isogenesis into that, so you can change one meal a day and isogenesis and still be paying half of what you would pay for that drive-through meal. So absolutely, the case that it costs too much to eat healthy does not hold water here. So it's really important for us to be able to explain to people why that's the case, right? So they're little mini packs. It's easy. It's one shake a day. 2 of those little gel caps in the morning, 2 in the evening. We call them magic beans. Take your magic beans every day, right? It's easy to understand. It's simple. It gives real results. It saves us money for sure. And it's so easy to share. And right now, when we're having this huge conversation about our immune systems and being able to build our armies up to be able to fight the things that are out there that are trying to get us, we have so many things that we could do. So we're giving the options of adding into what we already have with our amazing meal replacement shake and our isogenesis. A lot of people don't know we have all these immune system things that can also help. This immune shake booster is incredible. The mushrooms in there actually, they set the immune system up to go out and look for bad stuff in the system instead of waiting for it to show up where then it can attack it. It actually goes out and searches for it. So it can actually heal that way. Amazing, right? Our Ice Immune with zinc, incredible. Zinc's a huge conversation right now. Vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc are all the things we want to be flooding our system with. And vitamin A, we get a ton of it out of our isogenesis, which is great. The immune with zinc, I know if you guys really want it, I'm sorry, it's sold out for the next couple of weeks, but hopefully we'll have it back soon. Our C light is incredible. There's actually been clinical studies and write-ups about how absorbable and bioavailable our C is. Anybody know we have like essential oils? We have this Defense Shield oil, which is incredible. I put it in my diffuser and I let it diffuse all day. So it actually helps to keep some bad stuff out of the air. Our Ionic Supreme, amazing zinc and adaptogens and water soluble minerals to help our little armies fight. The zinc is incredible. And the AM PM, if you guys don't know about this, we have these complete essentials that have a full multivitamin, triple tested omegas, so amazing omegas, vitamin D, resveratrol, CoQ10, and also vitamin C. So this little C light is in this little pack too. And also a full dose of isogenesis is in there. So they're two little packs. We take one in the morning, one in the evening, and all of the stuff that you need is in there. So that's also an option. We kind of, we see the Forever Pack as, 2 shakes in the isogenesis, and we go Forever Pack Plus when you want to up it to add in the complete essentials. And that adds in your isogenesis and your vitamin C as well. So pretty incredible. Now, when we look at the basis of this, and people will go, well, right now, we're worried about food. Now think about this. Do the people that you're sharing this with, or for the new people on here that are just learning this for the first time, do you have a secondary resource for your food? Because if we're just counting on the grocery store right now, and I went in the grocery store a few weeks ago and there was nothing there. There was nothing there. We came home and had shakes. And so we have this amazing ability to have something that's so nutritious that's not going to spoil, like fruits and vegetables. It's not going to be spoiled in 2 weeks. Something we can put in our pantry. Each canister does 14 meals. If you think about it, if you did 4 canisters, that does 56 meals for you. That's incredible to be able to have that. And you mix it with water. So not only is it convenient, but it's easy. And in the crazy times we're living in, we don't know what's coming up. But I'm recommending everybody have a few extra shakes in their pantry just in case. And this cost of this is $164 right here. So when we were talking about $550 a day, that's what this is right here. 1 meal a day, pretty incredible. And the isogenesis added in. And because it's so easy to share, and I'm so passionate about letting people know that I want them to obviously have this in their household, so they're giving their bodies the best defense, is that go share it. So I'm sharing it. And when you get enrolled with this and you get your product started and you share with 2 people, then you can make back $120. The company will give you back $120. It's like a referral fee. Pretty cool, right? We all understand referral. I sign up for DirecTV. I get my friend to sign up for DirecTV. They get $50. I get $50, right? Referral fees, everybody understands that. So then we can teach them to do the same thing. So when our 2 friends share with 2 friends, then not only do they make back their 120. Now remember, you only had to spend 164 and you got 26 meals out of this. 26 meals. So you're getting 26 meals and all your nutrients for like 40 something dollars when you do this. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So these, not only did you make that, but your 2 friends that you shared with, who shared with 2 people, also can make back money. So they made their $120 back, and when you share with 2 people who share with 2 people, the company is going to give you back $450. So isn't that amazing? Like, so that would be $570. It would take care of several months of the food that you're eating, this nutritious food that you're eating. It would take care of that for you. People need to know this. We have so many people home. I mean, I drove down the strip the other night. I'm in Las Vegas. All of the casinos are closed. So for people to be able to make back a few $100s just by sharing something that's really helping their friends, why wouldn't we do that? Why wouldn't we? The coolest part about it is that as we go through this, the company also gives us back 6% on every order that goes through. So making a little bit of commission from the company as well. That's nice. I don't get commission from DirecTV. They give me a referral bonus once, and that's cool, but they don't give me a little cut of that every single time that person pays their bill every month. Would be nice if they did, but they don't. But we do. Every single time one of these people's orders, or that I get benefit from that. Cool, right? So if you guys want to go back and just see the science behind this again, and you know, this is the foreverpack.com site. Make sure you notice that there's no C in there. It's PAK, so Forever Pack. This is a 22-minute video just on the science. And if you would love to really delve into the science and learn more, you can do it there. And you can also share that with people so they can watch it as well. So if there's people that you really wanted to see this, then you can absolutely utilize that. And you know, so I encourage you to get back to the person who got you here, show them that video, send them the Forever Pack, teach them. We're doing all kinds of trainings and teachings. We're all working from home. We all work from home. I work from home anyway, but we're all working from home now. So everybody's at home. It's a perfect time to help them understand why this is so important. So I hope that was helpful, and you guys learned at least a thing or two, and pretty simple. It's not rocket science, you guys. It's really pretty simple. Nutrition is important. You want long telomeres or short telomeres? Cool. Hi, Kath, you are there. All right. I don't know if there's any, was there any questions that we needed to address, or let's see. Yeah, I do my defense shield. So I do my defense shield, my airway, my lemon, and I actually add oregano oil into it as well because it's an antibacterial. So if there's anything around, so yeah, I'm like the little chemist with my diffuser. Pretty cool. And all right, let's see. Yeah, there's so many good documentaries, you guys. You can learn so much stuff about our food and what's happening to it, and crazy. Kathy, hello, my friend. I saw you had your hand raised. Did you have a question? Let me unmute you. Hang on. I don't know if I can unmute you. Let me see. Oh, nope, it won't let me. But if anybody has a question, I'll hang on for 1 second. And if not, then we can go enjoy our Friday. And so tomorrow.
I can talk to you now. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I figured it out.
Good. I'm so happy you're here.
Can you explain the way the telomeres, or where the isogenesis works one more time? How that works?
So how the telomeres shorten, or?
Yeah, how it benefits our bodies. I understand the telomeres and understand all that, but I would like to be able to explain it to someone else a little bit better.
So the simplest way that I love to explain it, because everybody understands the shoestring analogy with the, you know, as the little plastic tip is holding that together. And as we start to lose that tip, the shoestring starts to fray. So imagine that to our DNA. And what our isogenesis does, it supports the telomere so that process does not happen. Or it supports the telomere so those nucleic bonds can heal. So the fraying comes back together. So the nucleic bonds are healing, which is
I had a question.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me how the isogenesis is supportive to our bodies right now in this virus.
Absolutely. So many things. Not only do we have, there's a large amount of vitamin A, which vitamin A is a huge conversation for immune boosting right now. But there's also the antioxidant value. So it's going in and supporting the system. So if something's attacking the system and attacking the cell, it's helping the cell be in a stronger space. So yeah, I'm taking, a little bit extra right now as well. I take a little bit of extra everything right now. So extra C, extra D, I'm doing extra everything. Does that help? Also, whenever we can turn the mitochondria on and, that can function in a more effective way, that's also, all of that supports our army to fight a better fight.
And the adaptogens.
And the adaptogens.
Yep, and the adaptogens.
Okay, yep.
Good?
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Goes to every cell you've got, every kind of cell you've got. It helps everything you've got.
Well, an eye cell, a heart cell, a lung cell, they're all just cells, right? They're all just cells. Comes back to the cell. Cool. John, hey John, I saw you were unmuted. Did you want to add something in?
Oh, I was just about to leave. I got another Zoom I got to go to.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I was waving goodbye, but it was wonderful. Thank you for being on today. And I'm glad that was a good question at the end to kind of reframe, what the telomeres and we can never practice that answer enough. And
absolutely.
That's the one that we got to get good at giving and sharing with people. And I'll tell you what, the more that we attend and listen to this and how it goes, the better we are at bringing that information back out. It'll be in your subconscious and you'll just be able to bring it right out. You know what, JoJo, thanks for the time that you spent on this today. Everyone loves your presentations because they're so succinct. It's so just easy to follow. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Well, thank you for that.
I have another Zoom I gotta go on.
Hey, JoJo.
Hey, Malcolm.
I'm so glad you mentioned vitamin E because Dr. Rick Du Bois, one of the top AIDS doctors on the face of the earth, he was in on the beginning of the AIDS epidemic, so he's an immune expert. He said that in a placebo-controlled study of 88 ambulatory patients over 65 years of age, these are the patients that we're worried about with this current epidemic, vitamin E supplementation showed a 65% improvement in cellular immunity. That's response to delayed hypersensitivity skin test, and a 6-fold increase in humoral immunity. That's response to hepatitis B immunization and tetanus booster.
Wow.
And the vitamin E patients had 30% fewer infections during a 4.5-month study than the placebo group. So, and that's what he writes about in age-related immune deficiency. So that vitamin E thing is extremely important. And, I mean, we're so blessed that we have this to offer people who are really frightened by what's going on, guys.
Bioavailable vitamin E.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, our vitamin E is amazing. So that's also in the little AMP impact that we talked about. It's in there. So make sure that, if you're really looking to up your game, that would be a good space to do that. Thanks, Malcolm. That's good to know.
Hey,
Ginny, Sunday, I don't know if that works out for your doctor friend, but Dr. Joshua Dunsky is going to be doing the presentation Sunday afternoon at 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern. And so they want to hear somebody from doctor point of view. He does an amazing presentation.
Now, is that Sunday
Easter
or Saturday?
Sunday?
Yep.
Both Sunday and Saturday. Saturday 8 o'clock Pacific, Sunday 3 o'clock.
8 a.m. will be so tomorrow morning. It's going to be more about the opportunity, the vision, how to share, like the thought process now of what can we do to help people with their income? What can we do to help people who've been impacted financially by this? And we have such a big message to be able to share there. So the owner of our company, Jim Coover, will be on, and also Dr. Joshua Dunsky will be sharing, you know, from a point of view of what now, when, you know, he's a doctor, but his office is not able to be open. And, you know, what residual income is a different thought process for us all right now when we're building a plan B.
Now that's
And
tomorrow at 8, right?
at 8 a.m. Pacific. Yeah, that'll be tomorrow. And then Sunday, I know it's Easter, where people have asked us to continue going. And so we're going to continue going, because this is, I mean, not only is it helping us all learn, but it's also, you know, we're just saying, get everyone together and sit in and watch, because what a great conversation to be having going forward. And, you know, we're all going to hang out, and, you know, I don't know how many people are like getting together for Easter and doing Easter dinner, but I know we're not. And
I'm not.
so it could be a good little hop into to learn on Sunday.
Okay.
And JoJo, for your friend Kathy that was asking about telomere support,
Yeah.
what would be the easiest way for you to explain that product B knows how to go to the telomeres that need, or the cells that need?
Right. Well, so the body has the innate ability to heal itself, and it knows where it needs to start first. So if that's not our, you know, a lot of times we come in and say, well, I have this thing, will it handle this thing? Because that's where I want it to start. But the body knows where to start first. The body knows what it needs to do. And so in that conversation, that's where it's going to start first. So it's always going to start with our most degenerated areas first. Always. Always, always. So great question. Thank you.
And by the way, those 2 Zooms that are coming up are going to be epic, okay? Saturday and Sunday. And promoting events is the highest paying activity you can engage in network marketing. You get
Absolutely.
people to events. You learn to get people to events, and you'll be platinum before you know it.
Well,
And
you know, events build belief, because you get to see the heart, the integrity, you get to feel the things that are happening. We can't be together in person right now. So this is our closest thing to in person, and why we're doing it so much. So we can keep everybody plugged in. You know, we're like little rechargeable batteries. If we don't plug in, we lose our juice. So we got to keep plugged in so our juice stays high. Because I know that this can be a sad, depressing time right now if we choose it to be. So we can choose something better for ourselves through this. We can come out of this, and we can help other people come out of this with a different outcome, a different financial blueprint. Everything can be totally different for people who choose to make this time a positive time for their life. Absolutely.
And the 90-minute training Zoom from this morning's training is on Forever Pack Business right now.
Yeah.
Tells you exactly how to promote this.
So if there's anyone new that's out there that hasn't tried the product or has a question, we might all, I'm now when seeing who's on, I think everybody might. We might be preaching to the choir right now, but that's okay. Mary, hi Mary. Wait, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. It doesn't appear that your microphone's on. Can you type your question into the chat box? There's a little button at the bottom that says chat. If you type it in there, then I'll be able to see it. Hey, Dr. Patty, I see you down there, my screen. We have an amazing group of professionals around here. Hey, you, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing so good. Glad to see you on.
Thank you. I really enjoyed the talk. It was very good.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll chat soon. We have ideas.
Okay, honey.
Okay.
Bye.
Let's see. Mary, are you putting your question in? Yeah. Okay. Who invited you on? Well, here, I'll type my phone number in. You can call me and ask me whatever question you want to ask me. Can you see the chat box? Pull my number out of there and you can call me and I'll help answer any question you have. Okay, perfect. All right, everyone, have an incredible day. Invite people to tomorrow morning. It's going to be awesome.
Thank you, JoJo.
Thank you guys for your
Thank you,
help.
JoJo.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Bye. Hey, you. How are you, Miss Infinity?
Thank you. Hanging in there. Homeschooling.
Good. I understand. Let's plan a team call. You guys got some good stuff going on over there. We need to get everybody together.
Sounds great.
All righty.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, JoJo.
Thank you.